Okay, so today we are solving equations and we have multi-step and variables on each side. There's lots of different equations here, so we're going to do a long video to go through this process. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remember our steps. So we're going to write out some steps. And these are solving equation steps. So our first step is we need to distribute. Our second step is to combine like terms. Our third step is to add, subtract. And our fourth step is to multiply, divide. There are some exceptions when it comes to adding and subtraction. Remember, not in the fraction, not a fraction. And then the multiply and divide, we always want to multiply by the bottom number on the fraction first. Okay, let's do some problems. Let's start with number 1. So I'm going to kind of move the camera. Okay, great. Yay. All right, so step number 1 is distribute. And if I look right here, I cannot distribute. So we're going to move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is combine like terms. I like to draw my walls, so I made a lovely wall. Like terms are numbers without letters and numbers with the same letters. If I look on the left side of my wall, I have 13, so no like terms there. If I look on the right side, I've got a negative 6p and a positive 3p. Remember, signs are attached to numbers and letters. All right, so we're going to combine these guys. I'm going to keep my 13 over on the left-hand side. Negative 6p and 3p's make a negative 3p, and then we're going to subtract 2. Once the like terms are combined, now our problem looks very similar to a two-step we've done many times before. Remember, we're going to save this negative 3p until the very end. We're going to get rid of the extra piece that's next to it first. The opposite of minus 2 is add 2, and we want to make that go away. We want it to be 0. So that leaves negative 3p on the right-hand side, and we're getting so much closer to getting the variable by itself. Since I added 2 to the right, I'm going to do the same thing and add 2 to the left. We got to keep our scale balanced, our equation balanced. 13 and 2 make 15. Now we need to get our p by itself. Since my negative 3 is getting multiplied by my p, we're going to do the opposite. What we do to one side of the equation, we must do to the other side of the equation. Notice that I took my sign, you must take your sign, so p is equal to negative 5. Okay, let's do some more. Love it. Math is fun. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, the difference between 4 and number 1 is that I added some more terms on here. So there's just a few more things to do. Notice that we cannot distribute because I don't have any of those cute little parentheses. Again, I'm going to start by drawing my wall. And then I'm going to pick out my like terms. I've got a positive 3x, a negative 8x, and a positive 4x. They're all like terms, so we're going to combine them all together. You keep your 4, your equal sign, and your 6. And then we have 3 minus 8 plus 4, and that gives us a total of negative 1 x's. If you wanted to, you could have just written minus x. Okay, now we have a problem that's very similar to the last problem that we just had. This is a nice little two-stepper. We are going to save the number and the letter until the very end. We're going to move the extra piece that's on the same side as the letter. Okay, so this is a positive 6. Notice this sign is attached to this 1, not the 6. The opposite of positive 6 is minus 6, which makes the 6's go away and it leaves our negative 1x. Or I'm going to write it over here so that you can see it too, just because some students get confused when it looks a little different. So let's say it was 4 and then 6 minus x. So I'm going to leave off that 1. Okay, and again here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to minus that 6 and get that negative x. You got to make sure you bring down that cute little negative, okay? It's attached to the 1. All right, since we subtracted by 6 on each side, we're also going to do that to the 4. So minus 6 and minus 6 here. 4 minus 6 is negative 2, negative 2. Now, we are not done. And you can see that easier on this problem. A lot of times students are confused here. This is really a -1 in front of that x. We cannot leave a negative in front of our variable. It's not finished. So what we have to do is just like we did with our -3p over here. We divided it off. So we're going to divide that -1 on each side, and then x equals a +2. Again, the same thing happens here. Even though I can't see the 1 there, if there is a -1. We're going to divide each side by -1, and again, x is 2. So different ways to look at the problem, whether you write a 1 or you don't, but both of them are correct. Okay, let's look at number 8. One thing about number 6 is on your assignment. Remember, do not combine those first. The first step is distribute, so please, 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 please distribute first. You will get a very different answer if you do this. So do not combine. Do not combine the 6 and -4 first. Okay, don't do that. And you don't need to write this there. Just a note for you guys. Don't do it though. Please, 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 please start with distribution. Okay, number 8. Oh look, we've got to distribute, so that's what we're going to do. If you remember back to Robin Hood, we're going to shoot the arrow over the wall and shoot the arrow over the wall. Distribute means to multiply. We are going to draw a line, nice little wall down there. So we're going to bring down our -132 and our equal sign. Then distribute means multiply. Keep that negative with that 6. -6 times 7, and always put a plus sign. The negative stays with the 6, so we have to make sure that this side gets a -6 as well. This negative is attached to that 5, so we're going to leave that there too. Be very, very careful with your negative signs. They're attached to your numbers. Don't break them up. They'll cry. Okay, -132 equals -6 times 7 is a -42. -6 times -5x, well, that's a positive 30x. Okay, again, now we have a nice little two-stepper. Notice how these things keep happening, because math is all about patterns. So if you're struggling, you don't know the pattern, and your teacher will definitely want to help you fix that. Okay, now what we need to do is get rid of the extra piece by our 30x. To get rid of -42, we have to do the opposite. So we're going to add 42 to make that guy 0. And now we have positive, oh, I don't need a positive, 30x. Oh, but since I added 42 on this side, we have to keep everything balanced, and we're going to add 42 onto the other side. So now I have -132 plus 42, and that gives me a total of -90. If you need to use your calculator, please, please, please do that. Since my 30 is getting multiplied by my x, we have to do the opposite, so we're going to divide. Notice that we draw divide lines with fractions. That cancels, leaving just our x. And we also have to divide our -90 by 30. -90 divided by 30 is -3. Okay, so there's some examples from the first page, on page 75. Let's do some more. Okay, number 12. Oh, there you go. All right, so we have a fraction and then some other things going on. Okay, so we want to save this fraction-y piece till the very, very end. Notice that that negative is attached to this fraction-y piece, so we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. Draw my wall. Okay, remember, step 1, distribute. Oh, I can't distribute. Step 2, combine like terms. I don't have any like terms over here on the left side. Oh, but look, I have a like term. 6 and +4 are like terms because they're both don't have letters. I keep my -80 on the left, and then since they're on the same side, we're going to add them. We're going to keep the signs the same. So same side of the Great Wall, your signs the same. Okay, so we're going to keep this 6 as positive and this 4 as positive. They're on the same side. So 6 and 4, they make 10. We still have our -2x over 5. Again, we're going to keep saving this guy. He's not ready yet. We're not ready yet for this guy. Okay, now, on my next step, I'm going to write it in a different color. Okay, So we want to get rid of that extra piece that's next to our variable. So instead of that 10 there, we want it to be gone. So we're going to subtract 10 because 10 is positive. And that leaves us with negative 2x over 5. Okay, great. We're almost there. Since I subtracted over here, I also have to subtract on this side. Negative 80 minus 10 is negative 90. Now here's the deal. When they were on the same side, we kept the signs the same. We just combined our 6 and our 4 to get positive 10. But this 10 now moves to the opposite side. On the opposite side, we use the opposite sign because we had a positive and now we use the negative. So opposite side, opposite sign. Okay, opposite side, same sign, same side. Okay? All right. Now we need to get rid of this guy. We've talked about it before. When your variable is in a fraction, you should get rid of the 5 first. This cute little negative, it can go to the top, to the 2, or to the bottom with the 5. Since he's really close to the 2, let's just leave him up there. Why not? It doesn't matter as long as you just put him in one spot. So let's get rid of the 5 first. We're going to start by multiplying each side by 5. So now we have negative 2x, and then negative 90 times 5 is negative 450, I believe. Let us check in our fancy dancy calculators. So 5 times negative 90, oh yeah. Okay. Then our last step is to get the x by itself. So we're going to divide by negative 2 so they cancel off. What we do to one side, we do to the other. Negative 450 divided by negative 2 is positive 225. Yay! Okay, it looks really crazy, but we did it. Okay, let's look at 16 really fast. On number 16, this is another problem that you're going to have to do on your own. Remember, my hint for you for this one is you want to save this fraction-y piece till the very end, okay? And remember, we want to get rid of this guy first when you get that fraction-y piece on the very end. Now, we're going to do number 18, which is similar. Remember, our first step is distribute. Okay, notice there's a negative out here. You can give it to the 3 or you can give it to the 36. I think it would be really easy to just give it to the 36, so that's what we're going to do. It can go either on the top or on the bottom. So let's give it to the 36 and we'll be very, very happy. I'm going to draw my cute little line and I'm going to show my distribution lines. Remember, distribute means multiply everything on the inside. Okay. Over here on the left-hand side, I've noticed that I have some like terms, 7 and negative 8. Isn't that fancy? Let's just leave them and we're going to do one step at a time. Okay, so we're going to keep my 7 minus 8. If you wanted to, you could combine them right now. And our first step we're going to do is we're going to distribute. 3 times 2 is 6. Got to bring that x down. And 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Remember, we're multiplying. Multiply. So we have that on the top. We're going to keep our negative 36 on the bottom. So now we distributed first, which is our first goal. Our second goal is to combine like terms. On the left, our 7 and our negative 8 are like terms. When I put 7 minus 8 in my calculator, I get negative 1. I still have my 6x minus 6 over my negative 36. Remember, the rule with your fraction is you need to leave the top part of your fraction, your numerator, until the end. You need to deal with the bottom part first, your denominator. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to multiply each side by negative 36 to cancel out my negative 36's. Remember, when you multiply, you need to take the same sign. Okay, now we have 36 on the left equals 6x minus 6. Now we have a cute little one-stepper, two-stepper that we've done many, many, many times before. Remember, we need to save this 6x until the very end. We're going to run out of room, and that's okay. So we're going to start by adding 6 and getting something away from our variable. I'm going to come over here. Let's draw my blue line so you can see. And we're just going to kind of continue it down. Sorry about that. There's not a lot of space in this guy. Okay, so over on the right-hand side, I still have my 6x. I'm going to put my equal sign there. Since I added 6 on the right-hand side, I'm going to add 6 on the left-hand side. So 36 and 6 make 42. Then we need to get the x by itself, so we're going to do the opposite of multiply. So we're going to divide each side by 6, and x is 7. Or you could write it like this. Oh, sorry, I didn't move enough. X equals 7. Okay, we have one more that we're going to talk about. I realize this is a long video. I'm really sorry. Lots of things. Okay, so down here, number 19. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to distribute. That's our first step. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to distribute this -7 to the 7m and the -2. Remember, this negative is attached. Don't forget about it. Then this guy is just a negative sign. He needs to be distributed to my 5 and my -3m. But it's a -1, remember? If you don't see a number next to it, it's a 1. So -1 times 5 and -1 times -3m. I'm going to write out all of the distribution that we're going to do so that you can clearly see what's happening when we multiply. Maybe I'll zoom in. Come on, camera. It's almost there. One more. Oh, it's lovely. Okay, here we go. So we're going to do, I'm going to show you this way. -7 times 7m, and I'm going to remember -7 times -2. Heavens. And I'm so sorry. I ran out of room. Let's go like this. Okay, we're going to try again. When something doesn't work, you got to fix it, right? Mistakes are proof we're trying. All right, let's come over here. -7 times 7m and -7 times -2 and -1, that's this blue guy right here, times 5 and -1 times my other number inside of my parentheses, which is -3m, that equals 9. There we go, I got it. Okay, so in case you can't see or you're confused, I got my -7, oh no, my -7 here, and it's -7, -7. I distributed it to my 7m and my -2. Always put plus signs in between your multiplication, okay? And then I have my -1 right here. See, -1, and it's here, and it got multiplied by my 5 and multiplied by -3m. Okay, so now let's actually multiply. -7 times 7 is -49m. -7 times -2 is +14. -1 times 5 is -5. -1 times -3m is +3m, and that equals 9. Okay, so I've distributed. That was my first step. My second step is to combine some like terms. Over here on the left-hand side, -49m and 3m are like terms. Also, my 14 and my -5 are like terms as well. So let's combine those guys. I zoomed in so much and then look at what happened. It's hard to see. My bad. I was trying to be so efficient. Okay, -49 plus 3 is -46m. I can only combine my m's and my m's. And 14 minus 5 is 9 equals 9. Okay, now we have a cute little two-stepper. We need to get the 9 away from our -46m, so the opposite of +9 is -9. What we do to one side, we must do to the other, so we're going to subtract 9 over here. We're left with -46m equals 0. Our last step is to get rid of the -46 in front of our m, so we're going to divide each side by -46, and anything divided by 0, 0. Okay, I hope this video was helpful. Please let your teacher know if you have any more questions, and have a wonderful day. Bye!